Descent renews the call for recognition, justice, and development. This was the 19th of December 2024, and it says a second international decade for peoples of African descent was proclaimed on December the 17th. This second international decade is an opportunity to take concrete actions to confront the legacies of enslavement and colonialism, deliver reparatory justice, and secure the full human rights and freedoms of peoples of African descent worldwide. The first international decade, while a significant milestone, fell short in delivering transformative change, according to several experts on the human rights of peoples of African descent. Barbara Reynolds, the chair of the UN Working Group of Experts on People of African Descent, WGEPAD, said that the initial efforts increased awareness of anti-Black racism and the human rights of people of African descent, but lacked enough political will and investment from member states. It is now time to turn the rhetoric into reality, the acknowledgement into answers, and the apologies into action to address the unfinished business of racial justice. For reparatory justice, to right historical wrongs, for environmental justice, for sustainable development, and for digital justice to assure the future of all peoples, Reynolds said. Reynolds highlighted key outcomes of the first international decade, including increased visibility of Afro-descendant issues, the establishment of the Permanent Forum for Peoples of African Descent, and the ongoing work on the UN Declaration on the Respect, Protection, and Fulfillment of the Human Rights of People of African Descent. However, much remains to be achieved. The chair of the Permanent Forum on Peoples of African Descent. So when you hear me say PFPAD, that's what I mean, right? So the chair of the PFPAD, June Samore, agreed and emphasized that while some gains were achieved, structural inequalities in education, healthcare, housing, economic opportunities, and political representations persist. She said the systemic racism continues to deprive people of African descent of basic human rights, exacerbated by climate vulnerabilities, digital exclusion, and environmental injustices. The fight against racism and racial discrimination is far from over. It is a fight that must not wane but intensify, because the vision of a world free from these pervasive scourges remains an urgent and moral imperative for all of us, Suma said. The first international decade raised global awareness and strengthened legal and institutional frameworks. The UN's effort during this period included supporting the development of anti-discrimination laws, national action plan, and institutional measures, promoting cultural heritage through initiatives like UNESCO, Route of Enslaved Persons, and General History of Africa, supporting anti-racism education and awareness campaigns globally, as well as equipping people of African descent with tools to claim their rights, for example, through the Fellowship Program for Peoples of African Descent. Despite these advantages, Suma noted persistent challenges and the lack of implementation of the Durban Declaration and the Program of Action, a comprehensive international framework of combating racism and racial discrimination. The continued challenges of addressing economic empowerment of peoples of African descent, compounded by limited and even reversal of access to economic opportunities, remains a persistent struggle, said Suma. Health disparities, especially those affecting women and girls of African descent, require urgent and sustained attention. The UN High Commission for Human Rights was the coordinator in the first international decade's activities. UN human rights encourage states and other stakeholders to take action, raise awareness on issues affecting peoples of African descent, and foster greater recognition, respect, and celebration of their diverse heritage and culture. We have supported the launch and implementation of the program of activities of the International Decade in several countries and regions, said Sarah Hamoud, chief of the Anti-Racial Discrimination Section, 160 activists of African descent, 70% of whom are women from 50 different countries, have graduated from our annual fellowship program, and we have supported 14 civil society projects through grants and partnerships. UN human rights also played a vital role in shedding light on the human rights challenges faced by peoples of African descent through dedicated research and campaigns. The UN Human Rights supported the establishment of the Permanent Forum on People of African Descent in 2021, and since 2022, it supports the intergovernmental discussions on the elaboration of draft United Nations Declaration in the on the respect, protection, and fulfillment of human rights of peoples of African descent. The proclamation of the Second International Decade builds on progress made so far, but more than anything, it is an acknowledgement that much more needs to be done. Kamut said, over the past decade, we have gained greater understanding and visibility of the lived experiences of peoples of African descent, but not enough has been done to create real positive changes in their lives. It's important that I read this. Delivering on the promise of human rights means creating a future that is more peaceful, equal, and sustainable for all. UN human rights future strategies are multi-pronged. Some of these include supporting states and others to dismantle systemic racism and deliver reparatory justice, strengthening civil society networks and capacity building programs, advocating for meaningful participation of peoples of African descent in decision making processes, and for data collection disaggregated by race and ethnicity to inform policies, promoting equal and sustainable economies, and combating environmental and digital injustice. Under the Second International Decade, UN human rights will strengthen engagement with states of other relevant interests, parties to drive concrete action grounded in the solutions identified by peoples of African descent, Hamoud said. We will also prioritize capacity building and support to people of African descent equipped with tools and resources to claim their rights. The office work the office work on the implementation of the High Commission agenda towards transformative change for racial justice and equality, and its support to the 8th UN Human Rights Anti-Racism Mechanism complements and reinforces its efforts to advance the programs of activities of the International Decade, a call for transformative change. UN Soma said that racism and racial discrimination are not abstract concepts, they are the daily realities of millions of people of African descent worldwide, and addressing this requires bold, concrete action, not mere rhetoric. UN Human Rights Chief Volker Turk has stressed the importance of strong leadership, political will, and increased financial and human resources as crucial to deliver on the decade's ultimate goal of recognition, justice, and development of peoples of African descent. The Second International Decade marks a critical moment that demands urgent collective action to break the cycle of historical injustices and systemic exclusion. The UN renewed commitment to fulfilling the rights of peoples of African descent serves as a powerful reminder that the fight against racism must be intensified for a just and equitable future for all. The human rights of people of African descent are inextricably linked to the rights of all people everywhere at all times. So people, I thought that was fantastic news because it means to say that what was not done in the past 10 years, because the decade for persons of African descent was going to end this year, and they have added another 10 years because they realized that all the targets have not been met. So that is why it is important. I continue to say we have to know our history, we have to love ourselves. And that's the only way we can love others. And not only that, I am not accepting any racism or insult from anybody from any other race. Because this decade, Second International Decade of People of African Descent, speaks a lot, as the first one, about discrimination and racism against people of African descent and what we went through, not what indentured laborers went through, not what the Jews went through, not what this one went through, and that is African peoples, because they have realized that the wealth of Europe, England, and America, and all those other countries, it was built off of the sweat and tears of peoples of African descent who were taken from their homeland. They did not want to come here. They were captured, they were raped, they were tortured, they were kidnapped and brought here to work in the most brutal and inhumane conditions in the Caribbean. We had no rights. We were less than animals. We had no rights. We were property. And we worked and we built Europe. And now that they have built and have millions and they could do all kinds of things, we must be compensated because we never got paid. Indentured laborers got paid. They came under different circumstances, under different time. They got paid. They came on contract. Whether or not the money was small or how small, that is not the issue. They had rights. They even in this country when they came, because a lot of them were dying because of the fact, and some of them, they weren't built for this type of work. They had to make a law that for a year, the slave master had to feed them a special diet to build them up. We didn't get all that. So when they want to tell us and continue to play this eternal victim as though we owe them something or they are owed something, it is unfortunate they behave like that because they are owed nothing. They came here because they wanted to come, because the ancestors there, they were Dalits in that society in India. They were not a part of the inhumane caste system, no fault of theirs, but that is how it was. The white man went there and would have used that to their advantage. The Dalits had no say in nothing in India. Yeah, they were the menial workers, unskilled laborers. They clean cesspit, they dig in garbage, they take a filter off the street, they take off human excrement, they dealt with dead bodies. All those things are taboo in Hinduism, but they did it. If a higher caste, if for instance, they see a higher caste, those are things I read, it's not me making up those things, and the shadow fall on a higher caste, the higher caste went and did a whole ritual because it was taboo and they thought it brought some kind of bad luck or something. So the point I'm making, indentured laborers wanted to come. They wanted to come to make a better life in a place that they could flourish because they weren't doing it in India. They came on contracts 2, 3, and 5 years. They were offered land, they were given land. Whether or not they didn't get it one time or not, those things were there. We did not get it. So I'm very happy that there is a concerted effort to deal with the inhumanities that was meted out to persons of African descent, the discrimination, the racism, and the advantage that was taken of our ancestors in building the world. So anything to do that, the reparation. Just a simple thing as Dr. Rowley and they wanted to remove the sign of Columbus. Not the sign of Columbus, taking off the 3 ships, Nina, the Pinta, and Santa Maria, of the coat of arms. People had issues with that. And not understanding where the coming of Columbus brought a lot of things. One of that is the almost genocide of the First Peoples. They brought diseases and gave it to the First Peoples. That's why the First Peoples community in this country is so small. The ancestors were killed. The children was used for target practice. It was inhumane, but just a total removing that created so much bacchanal and confusion. Just for the steel pan that we created here, our sweat and tears, our ancestors, our African ancestors, created this musical instrument, the only one in the 21st century. It created such a stir. People started about what the tassa should be and all that. I'm saying again, I do not discount what other races went through and issues that they have, but do not mix it with what happened to them. Do not mix indentureship with enslavement. It is very disingenuous for anybody to continue to do that. Yeah, and to tell us we're using slavery as an excuse. Clearly we are not, because the United Nations has recognized that we must be treated in a special way based on what we have suffered. 400 years, 400 years of enslavement, and like 4 generations born into enslavement, So don't tell me nothing about we don't reserve anything. Yeah, yes, we have challenges in our African community. Yes, we have crime. We know all those things. We know all those things. Yes, it has some who don't like to work. We have all that, but in other races, it have the same thing. So don't make it as if it's an African thing. It is a human thing. That doesn't discount or that doesn't take away from the fact that Europe owes us. The children, the ancestors of enslaved Africans, Europe owes us. Yeah? Okay, so let me continue. So it was good news, but I needed to also say that. Um, this to me also is some good news, because you see, when it start to hit home, that is when they just come out and talk. Me and this person talking here, I ain't no fan. However, listen to what he has to say, because it's very instructive.
Hi, my name is Gary Aboud. I am the fisherman and friends of the sea. I also own a private company, which I built from scratch. 30 years ago we started, and today it's a prominent contributor in many areas of national development. I'm not blowing any horns, but we all have a place here. Now, the UNC has gone down a road where its main spokesperson is spreading hate and wants to expel and close down all of the 1%. Now, this person never made any success of any business whatsoever. And with great respect to Kamala, I'm wondering, why would she want the UNC to hate and expel businesses? So Extra Foods should be shut down, Starlight Drugs, Starbucks, Venco, Mario's, Prasad's the Food King. There's plenty people who are millionaires in Trinidad. And we have a place here, and we have a contribution to make. Now, if Kamala wants to divide the Africans and the Indians and spread hate amongst them and divide them even further than the demons that already have, then maybe she should be part of the labas and the dustbin and a cesspit. But don't take all the good people in the UNC and drag them down a road where they want to hate each other. Successful businesses have a contribution to make. We are citizens, we are patriots. I have no shame in my success. I've worked 12 hours a day for 40 flicking years. When other people were going to the beach and hanging out, I always think of a way to make it work. Now, Philip Alexander wants to hate me. He's a Syrian like myself. Because he didn't make a success of his life, he wants to destroy people that have worked 12 and 14 hours a day to make theirs. Is that what the UNC stands for? For a man that called the leader a drunk and a whore should now be waving a flag conveniently. Could you imagine Mr. Alexander as the Minister of Finance or the Minister of Works? Where does his excellence come from? What has he contributed to national development that the yellows, the UNC, should grab onto him and make him the mouthpiece of the party? I don't have no alliance to anybody. I am looking for love and peace, for unity, and for national development that could help all people. Where does Philip come into this? What is happening to the UNC? If you belong to the UNC, have you lost your tongue? Have they cut it off? Are you neutered? Don't you see what is happening to the UNC? As it stands now, I'll tell you with great respect, I would be willing to work with anybody to fight the UNC so that this nonsense that Kamala is promoting is cut in the bud and she is kept out of Parliament for life. Just for what has happened with Mr. Alexander and what he has said in the past 2 weeks is enough grounds that nobody should vote for the UNC. Let's shut them down because they are spreading hate and division, attacking national development. Who is going to develop the national economy without capital? People who can't run a business can't run a business. I'm not saying that we should create a green carpet for business people to run away with billions, but there has to be a level playing field where we all have a part to play. Extra foods came from nowhere. Pennywise came from nowhere. So what? I must hate Pennywise because he's brilliant, because he has a team that held together and built his company and gave the consumer something that made them loyal to him. Come on, we're not going down like Chavez. We're not expelling 20,000 businesses, Kamala. With great respect to you, Kamala, you are leading your people astray. And I must encourage you to re-examine what your strategy is. If it is a strategy of promoting hate, then it's time we shut down the UNC. Completely shut it down. Get rid of all of them because they're not worthy of the flag of Trinidad and Tobago.
Papa yours. As I say, I'm not a fan, but I understand what he's saying, and he's very correct. If Gregory Aboud, fisherman on the seas, could come out and talk, you need other people to come out and talk to. Let me tell you something. When you see it hitting the pocket, don't play with people who work hard to develop the business. When you're trying to tell people shut down the business, people ain't go buy. It's about the money. It's about the money. So, Gregory Aboud is willing to work with anybody to shut down the UNC. 2025, Philip Alexander said he could drag the PNM into hell. And you know, they just say PNM is an African party, so it means because you can't drag PNM. PNM is an organization without people in it, it has nothing to drag. So it means to say African people, they're going to drag them. That's what Philip Alexander said, and he basically say for it, I put it my way, for it feel like Kamala and how them UNC does do it and free it. I come in, I go deal with all you. So Kamala new poster boy, blue eye, Sophia boy, is Philip Alexander. So she threw away Gary. Well, she done a jack long time. I thought that was good news in the context that people are speaking out. So, as I say that, and I always say, life is a circle. When some are laughing, there's some crying. When some are having a good time, some not having a good time. While people are being born, babies are being born, there are people being buried, and that is how life goes. So, this happened. I'm sure everybody know about the platform that would have, well, it hasn't submerged into the sea or anything, but it has. What would all people just kill Katia the side so it lean like somebody, whatever, I don't know if just call it post, like that break or something, so the whole platform has shifted. So I'm seeing from a media release was done from the Ministry of Energy dated 22nd of December 2024. Incident at Rig 110, Minister Young and MEEI technical team on the ground. On the 22nd of December 2024, the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, or that's what they call it, MEEI, received reports of an incident at Rig 110, an asset owned and operated by Wells Services Limited, which was located within the Heritage Offshore East Field. Line Minister Honorable Stuart R. Young, SC, MP, Minister of Energy and Energy Industries, and Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, visited the Trinma Marine Base to receive in-person briefings on the ongoing incident management. Since the incident was reported, the Ministry of Education and Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries has remained fully engaged in assisting both well services and heritage. Whilst the Trinma base Whilst at Trinma Base, Minister Young also met with family members of Mr. Pete Phillip, the Wells Service Limited worker, who has not been located. Minister Young offered his prayers and words of support to the family members present at this difficult time. The Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries will be appointing a team to conduct a detailed investigation of the incident and to prepare and submit a comprehensive report of the findings of the investigation. The Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries has a team that is currently on the ground monitoring the response operation. Also on site are teams attached to OSHA, Well Services Limited, and Petroleum Heritage Petroleum Company Limited. So I understand that it was 76 workers, 75 accounted for, one is in hospital, and one gentleman is still missing. I understand that his wife is pregnant, or he has other children, and this is the season for miracles, and I am hoping that there is a miracle. Did you put your money together? Okay, a little bad, I know. Let me finish this now. So I hope that he is found alive. I was speaking to my nephew who, when the Paria situation had happened, I called him. He's very versed in that area. So when he explained everything to me, that was in the early of the Paria situation. Everything he told me, I just kept quiet because me, investigator, nothing, I kind of kept quiet on that. But everything he told me is exactly what happened and what has happened and what continued to happen. So I asked him about his situation also, and he was telling me that there's a drill. Well, they must do drills because in case of accident, because those jobs are really high risk. He said that there's a muster point in the event of any accident or anything happen. There's a muster point, and if you have to jump in the water, you have only life vest and that you jump in. But I put it my way in like in a formation, so everybody huddled together. Everybody jump in the same place, so you're floating together, so that it makes it easier for when it's time to rescue. So he was saying he wonder where that the gentleman who they can't find, where he was, what has happened, and I guess the investigation will say what has happened, how he became separated, where was he at the time, did he not jump, did he have on his vest, were there enough vest, all those things will be ventilated with the investigation. And but I believe in miracles. This is the time for miracles based on the time of the year, the Christian faith and all that. And I'm hoping to God that he is found alive. Maybe the water would have, with his life vest and whatever, would have pulled him out or something. And because his wife is pregnant, and I see a newspaper front page, she's lying down and there's a gentleman sitting. So like they're consoling her. Oh God. So this is December the 23rd. CNC3 News. Heritage providing drones, vessels, divers to search for missing rig worker. Heritage Petroleum Company Limited. Heritage said it is sparing no effort as the search and rescue operation continues for missing oil rig worker Pete Phillip. Phillip went missing when the offshore rig on which he was stationed, rig 110, collapsed in the early hours of Sunday. Of the 75 workers on the rig, he remained the only person unaccounted for. As advised in the Wells Service incident report issued to the media at 9:51 a.m. on December the 22nd, 2024, of the 75 people on board, so it wasn't 76, 75, Of the 75 people on board the rig at the time of the incident, 74 have been evacuated. Regrettably, one person, Mr. Pete Phillip, was unaccounted for and remains unaccounted for as at the time of this release, Heritage said in an official statement issued this morning. Heritage outlined the extent of support it has provided towards the rescue effort, air, sea, and subsea support. One, the provision of 9 support vessels, which were involved in the initial rescue of personnel on board the rig and remains involved in the movement of material, equipment, and personnel, the conduct of survey and provision of security, oil spill monitoring, and emergency response. 2, the provision through heritage contractors of topside drones and surveillance, and 3, the provision through heritage contractors of subsea surveillance by way of divers and remote operated vehicles. The company confirmed that it had been liaising closely with the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries and Well Services Petroleum Company Limited. Heritage has set up its incident management team along with dedicated business support at its Marines base in Point Fortin. This team has over 25 members of staff, is led by Heritage Midstream business unit leader and includes the head of the drilling department and the head of the HSE department. The Point Fortin team reports into a team located at the Port of Spain office led by company's chief operation officer, Heritage reported. Heritage said it is committed to making available any additional resources and or expertise which may be required as it continues to provide full support. And I guess they would do everything in their power not to have an incident ever again like Paria and the tragedy with the drivers. Again, the rig is not heritage rig, it is privately owned, but it is doing work for heritage, so it's Well Services Petroleum Company Limited. Again, just on the Paria situation, I will continue to say, while everybody focused on Paria, the company, a lot of attention was taken off of the employer of those divers who died. A lot of focus was taken off him. I don't know why, if it's probably because he's of Indian descent, and I wouldn't put it past based on how things happen in this country, because at the end of the day, he is their immediate boss. And if you have scuba divers going to do work and end up in a situation is for commercial divers and they're not trained to do it, then the accident that happened is one that was waiting to happen. That is my opinion based on the things that I would have read. Okay. So let us again hope and pray that Mr. Philip, is it? Mr. Pete is found safely and can come home. I understand one of his children or the children are asking the mother, when is daddy coming home? That alone is enough. Ooh, that is, wow. So we pray for their safe return. So, oh God, Joycelyn, you rail on top of thing, you know, all they jump in my show before I reach, all I want me talk about the tour, man. No, all the time about the PSA thing, all they give me time to reach to it. I can't just jump in the whole back and I just, so let me make a little thing first now, let me go international and thing, and right? So, Guyana, I went to Guyana quick, Papa. Let us expand our knowledge base, not only in Trinidad alone with the dramas, right? So again, this is quite a news. Who does have a lot to say about what's going on in Guyana, Papa? Oh, geez, on ages. This was the 22nd of December. Each household in Guyana lost 1.7 million in 2024 from government's refusal to apply 65% windfall taxes on Exxon excess profits. So this is quite a news. It said a windfall tax does not violate petroleum agreements since it is applied to the excess revenue earned. This means that the expected income of a contractor is not affected in any way. Oil-producing countries around the world, such as Canada, the United Kingdom, and the United States, amongst others, have imposed this tax on the states. This tax on the massive excess revenue being enjoyed by the oil companies as a result of higher oil prices. In Guyana's case, the country chief policymaker for the sector, Vice President Barra Jagdeo, is adamant that this mechanism cannot be applied to ExxonMobil as it would constitute a breach of the 2016 Production Sharing Agreement (PSA) with Exxon and its co-venturers. This argument has, however, already been set aside by Trinidadian energy specialist Anthony Paul, who clarified that windfall taxes do not violate petroleum agreement. Paul explained, it's will be all over. So when again I want to say, when Dr. Roger goes sign telling we about what economy should be, and my words like Guyana, all who talking about we should be like Guyana. Guyana in a mess. Because we own technocrats from here telling them that with the windfall taxes, it does not violate no petroleum agreement. But the vice president of Guyana, Barra Jagdeo, he is saying they cannot change the breach contract because they cannot change anything that can be applied. This windfall taxes cannot be applied to the contract they have with ExxonMobil because that will be a violation. And we energy expert is telling them the windfall taxes does not violate the petroleum agreement. All other big countries are getting it and it interfere with the contract. But why it is Guyana is so adamant that they're not going to change, they're not going to renegotiate the 2016 agreement they have with ExxonMobil, and they continue to lose money like that. I don't understand it. Even Mr. Glenlal said, Dr. Rowley, when he was speaking, I said contracts are not made in stone, and if conditions change, contract could change. And our own energy minister, Minister Stuart SC, would have said if they wanted help with the contracts, he would help. They never reach out to him. But Barra Jagdeo wanted to tell me that we country falling apart. Well, I'm going to show you something, but it looks like it's Guyana falling apart, and no fault of the citizens is on the management of the monies. Look, Glenalden saying 1.7 million in 2024. Each household is losing that. Me really no more. Now I want to show you this, Papa. I want to show you this. This is what's going on. You think in this country you could treat teachers like this? Look at this, Olio. Olio, look at this.
The gates of the St. Stanislaus College is about to be opened to allow teachers, literally hundreds of them out here, to enter the premises to begin the collection of their $100,000 cash grant. As you may have learned earlier, the distribution size was curtailed at the Coast Street entrance of the Ministry of Education. 21 breakdown in their quarters now. Three Eastbound East Coast, 30 persons at a time. That's what was told to one of the persons here to inform the others who are waiting there. Many came out of their homes very early this morning, and they're still here. Actually, there are two lines, one at the western end of St. Stanislaus College, and another at the eastern end of St. Stanislaus College, and there are 100 others outside on the edge of Wickdale here in Georgetown. The gates have not yet been opened, but officials of the Ministry of Finance are inside. They are ready to begin the distribution as far as we are informed. So it's just a matter of arranging for the entry of about 30 persons at a time to go in and receive their checks. Of course, you've got to walk with a form of identification, either your national identification card or your passport, to uplift the checks. Police are on hand from the nearby Pitcairn police station to offer guidance and security. But as we have heard earlier today, many of the teachers believe that this could have been avoided. Some of them call it confusion. They said that the checks should have been delivered at their schools when schools reopened for the new term, or the checks could have been made available when teachers go to their schools for cleanup exercises prior to the commencement of the new term in January.
You think this government could have teachers, all them as teachers and all here? Me I see no petrol. That dirt and grass I see there. All them as teachers. Had them line up in the hot sun. And as somebody say, they could have done the checks and dropped them off at the different schools. So all who tell me we should be like Guyana, no, we should be like we, because that could have never happened in this country. It would have gone on gone on Iris and all kind of thing for them to get the money. You can see teachers in Trinidad and Tobago lining up, so pushing and walking over canal and hot sun and things, that dirty canal, all kind of things, all in the grass and nah. You don't treat your professionals so. What is happening in Guyana? What is happening? In fact, the government treating no workers so in the public service. Because look at the time just to go to pay the property tax that people were excited to pay. Nobody wasn't pushing, nobody was long orderly line, but the line of them was really long. People started to complain because they're standing long and all that. A member of parliament see the scene, go and bring water thing for them to eat all that, and next thing, we bring another tent, and by the next thing we hear, the Minister of Finance say they're going to make it where you could pay it digitally. And then all that done, well, what we to be like Ghana? The money I'm seeing based on all I'm reading, the money and the resources that Guyana getting, like the only people enjoying it is ExxonMobil and me and know who. But the ordinary citizen in Guyana, like they're not enjoying that. Where is the petrols? The last one I show is the people thinking to get their money. One big dirt road. One big dirt road. I had the people and them lining up there and quarreling for hours to get them this little money. And when they translate the money, it ain't no big money. It ain't no big money in US, it ain't no big money. 100,000 Ghanaians ain't no big money. I'm happy they're getting it, but they could get more. You hear quite a news say $1.7 million each household losing in Guyana every year. Come now, man. I don't like to see injustice so at all. Them is professional people. Them is educated professional people teaching me train. And look how them have to stand up. Look how that them have to stand up like if it's... I'm not saying there's not human like everybody, but oh God, the level they are, they're teaching people train and you're treating them so now that's right. Come better than that Guyana. Don't tell me about we business when all the business all over the glass. Please, don't do that. Treat all the citizens better than that. So I see Fali and them, or Faith, whatever she name and them, they buying some new building. I thought they may have money. They have money for Tobago to pay the fishermen and them and all that because it's the central government give them, but they have money to go and buy some property where they say they're going to make into So let me read. This is from Gavin Walters. 2 days ago, he said, seems that the TRHA has won a massive jackpot somewhere to be able to undertake this massive spending spree their own, courtesy Madam Faith. This is scandalous. It is absurd. And not Faith nor any of their minions dare to try to defend this high-class condominium. I have already seen people like Ting, Brimso, and Panther taking the lead. I don't know who them is, And I tell all, and them all just happen to have a doubles to the name. What a coincidence. However, I am sure there's much more intelligent people that can represent the TPQ, to whoever they name, TPPQ, to whoever, better than these simpletons. I guess they are smart, wise, or intelligent enough to not even try to defend Bill, you know what, knowing it's not a slice of cake. I remember as clear as day Faye telling reporters just after the victory in 2021 in her first address to the media as health secretary that one of her first responsibilities is to address the issue of gratuity for workers in the division that had been outstanding for a long time. Ronson Wood was probably the happiest man in Tobago then after cussing freely and then THA over his long overdue gratuity for years. Did that ever occur after 3 years? As we speak now, or as you are reading this post, there are THA workers who have never received the ex gratia payment of $1,000 they were promised on the campaign trade, which was initially $10,000. So where did all this sudden wealth out of the division of health come from? No wonder the bill was a guaranteed $4 billion was rejected. The bread and butter on both sides it seemed, so they fully loaded. But I hope they're saving up their lawsuit money. They will have to be paying to a large number of victimized workers never seen before in the THA history. There better be no excuses. All stupid decisions made by the THA get the support of the Executive Council, which is headed by Chief Secretary. The buck stops with him. There's absolutely no logic in that 20 million purchase of 5 villas when they could have just built a new wing of the oncology center on the same property where the hospital is presently, since they believe that the one at the old hospital no longer serves a purpose. Those villas were on the market for sale for years now, but got no interest for whatever reason. Word is that some folks even perished in a fire there some years ago. That's probably left a bad omen. Then there are the ambulances looking like ice cream trucks, ice cream truck with no AC, and stick shift to traverse the island with the second engine. The brand of the vehicles is totally unknown. Where the hell did they come from? Vietnam, Malaysia, Russia? What a horrible investment. What about the bag of onions for $7,000, garlic for $6,000, and the coffee for 90 for one pack? What are these purchases for? This is crazy. It is crystal clear that Farley doesn't question anything his charges do, or they just leave it up to them to do what the hell they want to, because he does not possess any leadership qualities whatsoever. But I told Toby Gomez repeatedly that he is NFG, Domain Neville F4. May he rest in peace. People, like they buy ambulance like ice cream shop with no AC and stiff stick. We call it shift stick. It's like manual. And they're spending 20 million on some villas, 5 villas to build some oncology center. And as the man who wrote this said, why didn't they just add a wing to the already existing hospital that they have, or just upgrade the oncology center? No, but money's got to spend. I want to see the ice cream truck and them. It's one in Tobago, but it have people who just sit down and call themselves mother this and mother this. You know what them is mother ass? Them is no mother this and mother that. To sit down and see the things that Farley and them doing and still contented with that because they hate paying them. All they go buy ice cream truck like ambulance, no air condition, stiff shit, we call it shift stick, manual, no automatic, not on no AC, for sick people to drive around and that will buy with money from central government. Look now. Let me continue. Yes, Papa. Not only that, 15 workers from the one of them division, they're sending them home 1st of January, them without a job. I tell them people contact me, you know. Or they contact me, you know. All that happening in Tobago. But Farley is wicked. Farley's a wee boy. He good. He's a good boy. Let me continue, eh? Oh yeah, this one trouble me because they see the Indian community. I don't care what they say. They're forever talking about the crime in the African community, and we acknowledge we have it, but they don't ever talk about the rampant crime in the Indian community, especially when it comes to domestic violence and chopping up Indian women. They don't be talking about that. And here we go again. After just this year, we had Tara Ramsarup. And she, 14-month-old daughter, I think was Jada Mutilal, chopped to death, hacked to death. And then after we had Laura. Kill in front, she train on them, getting them ready to go a car show. Hacked to death. Here we go again. In the Guardian, woman 63 chopped by man 92. When he asks you is 92-year-old, look, you should be looking to see what Simpson have for you, so you know you go and relax. You're looking to chop a man for house. Shahedai Ramnath, 63, was chopped about her face, her head, and hand and body. The assailant is believed to be a 92-year-old man who was known to her. The victim's daughter, Zina Kadil, 45, said Ramnath was involved in an altercation with a man sometime after 6 p.m. at a Londonville home when the man allegedly pulled out a cutlass and started chopping her. Kadil said her mother knew the man and they might have been involved in a property dispute. I got a call from the Shogunas Health Center. My brother told me my mother get chopped and the house burned down. When I went there, I saw my mother. She get chopped across her face and one of her finger cut off. And she get chopped across her body, she said. Kali said her mother ran to the nearby police post seeking help. It is believed that her house was then set on fire. Her mother is warded at Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex in a serious condition. I don't know if anything had changed since this report, right? Brenda John, Council of Enterprise South Londonville, North and the Shogunas Borough Corporation visited the scene. She said a suspect was apprehended. Say he blasted him because if he was in the East-West corridor, what would I say name? She said a suspect was apprehended by villagers after he fell into a drain and was then handed over to the police. He was taken to Shogunas Health Center for treatment. John said Ramnath had only been discharged from the hospital on Thursday after she suffered a oh Jesus, my heart attack. They don't talk about the abuse of women in the Indian community by Indian men. They don't talk about the incest in the Indian community by Indian men. They don't talk about none of them things. They don't talk about the rape in the Indian community by Indian men. But you know what they do? Indian men put on Rasta and was going around raping Indian women. And people start to run to Canada to say African men raping them, looking for asylum. And when they do the investigation, that is why we end up having to have visa to go Canada. Thank God now with Dr. Rowley so again. Yeah? Saying there's African men doing it. And when they look and they hear the show, it's Indian men doing it. And then Hulsi Bagan, who was a member of parliament, she encouraged a vigilante group, to beat and harm African men who they see down in the area. That is what they do. That is a fact. That is a fact. And they doesn't want to talk the truth. They don't want to talk the truth because they don't want to take responsibility for the action. So as you talk about it, they want to tell you you're racial. We have to talk the truth. Christmas time is about love, but you can't have the love if inside full of a hate. You have to purge it out. You have to talk the truth, and they don't want to talk it, so I go talk what I read. Let me read this quick here before I get to the heart, because we must remember these things, because we just forget too much. Imagine a pundit say, is the urban youth from the East-West corridor who targeted Indians in Aranguez. No data, no information, a big nasty lies he tell. And that was just left right there because it's easy. That is why I'm happy that the decade for African person extended for the next 10 years. We must be paid. We must get reparation. We must be respected. We have to respect ourselves too. We must be respected. Racial discrimination against us must stop. And at the end of the day, I keep saying again, I love myself. I'm proud to be me, so I could love anybody. How you treat me is how I treat you. Me ain't looking at race, I'm looking at face. However, if you treat me any type of way that is unjust to me, whoever race is, I will have to treat you back the same way. But at the end of the day, we are a cosmopolitan country. All of us have to build this country. See what Gabriel Abud said? He has brought it home. With what Philip Alexander said. He admit Philip is a 1% like them, but he failed in all the businesses. He say he's a failure. We say so. He said none of the business Philip involved in it was successful. And then when we go and say it over now, they go want to say we same thing. You hear what he say? What Philip say about call Kamala? He called she a drunk and a hoe. A whore. So this was in the Guardian 2020. Women and girls under attack, 47 killed so far this year of in 2020. Neera Ramnath, Joanne Hood, Ashanti Riley, Cindy Joseph, Rachel Logan, Gabrielle Dubari, Nali Singh, Mokisha Maynard, Susan Sipasad, Vashani Chit Bahal, Lelwalti Makan, Guma Jose Rosero Makano, Alana Mohammed, Chand Dramati Rojan. And that is just some of the names. Some of them chopped to death. Right? So Cindy Joseph, 33 shot. Neera Ramnath, 39 shot. Murugesh Maynard, 8 beaten to death by her father. Alana Mohammed, 38 shot. Rachel Logan, chopped to death. Joanne Hood, shot. Celestine Farrell, 69, burnt. Anne-Marie Susan Sipasad, 34, murdered. Charlene Ramkisoon, shot. Chandramati Sami Rohan, 45, shot. Makeba Nurse, 43, shot. Shaman James Malaba, found dead. Vashani Chit Bahal, shot. Lalwati Marchan, found dead. But the hands of the husband, with her husband. Girma Jose Rosario Macano, shot. Rina Joseph, shot. Katia Trouble, shot. Gita Newman, found strangled. Elena Dial, 19, dead after being burnt alive. Anna McLeod, shot. Ornella Graves, shot. Adana Dick, stabbed to death. Vera Gobardi, throat slit. Sherma Francis, killed. Drive-by shooting. Cowsill Ramkilawan, stabbed to death. Sharon Huggins, chopped to death. Joan Diaz Sanchez, found murdered. Kimberly Ramsaran, found in an abandoned house, chopped to death. Rishma Kanchan, hacked to death. Tanil Cupid, murdered. Johandri Esponiza, strangled. Cindy Chata, killed. Duki Mira Mongur, beaten to death. Shot to death Toya Hughes, unidentified woman found dead. Sandy Khan and her daughter Khan, shot to death. Crystal Primus Espinosa, 36, dead. Ashanti Riley, dead. Right? We just forget this thing or remember Shannon Banfield found like garbage, rotten inside a IAMS, whatever I call it. Since I never shop there again. We just forget. And again, I will find all those who were chopped to death by the husband in the Indian community. As I say, Tara Ramsuru, Lara Sankar, and Tara, little daughter. And now we have this 60-something-year-old woman chopped, finger chopped off by a 92-year-old man. 8 more years to make 100. He looking to chop, to fight for property. You gotta talk it, you know, because nobody ain't talking it for we. Kamala Pasalbi says some them influential Indian women it have in this country. They don't talk on behalf of women. They don't talk about nothing on behalf of women. I just want to read this what I would have written. History of violence in India. This research done in India was from 2006. It said extensive interviews of 33 males and 32 female serving life sentences in India prison for domestic related homicides. Indian domestic murders, much like the violent crimes in other countries, feature the use of weapons at hand in the home or family workplace. Those weapons range from bare hands, knives, and household poisons to agricultural instruments such as machetes, sickles, and pipes. Of the 64 domestic murders, only male killed siblings and parents, with some of those deaths arising out of disputes involving land or property inheritance and rights to available water. This came out of the Office of the Justice Programs, Homicide by Males and Females in India. Then I looked at the historical background of the culture of violence in Trinidad and Tobago, issue 4, 2010, Bridget Brereton. Indians in Trinidad soon acquired a reputation for violence, including murder against members of their own community. In 1880s, they committed 60% of all murders in the colony, which is Trinidad, while constituting only about 30% of the total population. In the 1890s, the figure was 70%. The great majority of the victims were fellow Indians and most were women. The tragic COOLIE, wife murderers, reflected a skewed sex ratio on the plantation during the period of indentured immigration. These men were usually tried and convicted for murder and duly hanged. The ubiquitous plantation tool, the cutlass, the weapon of choice. Dispute over dowry and marriage, over land and wages, could all lead to violence and murders, and those were taken from Trotman, Brereton, Reddock, Mohammed, from their books and different pages. This is what I'm writing now. We have all read countless times the horrific stories of Indian women in Trinidad and Tobago being murdered by male relatives using the cutlass. These acts of violence always stem from domestic abuse, land and property disputes, or money disputes. Just October this year, Tara Ramsurut and her 14-year-old month baby daughter, Jida Mutilal, were chopped to death with a cutlass by a male relative. That was in The Guardian. Then we had Laura Sanka, chopped to death with a cutlass in front of a 16-year-old son by a male relative. Also in the month of October, so Tara and her baby was October the 9th. Laura Sanka was October the 15th. Then we have Sayadei Ramnath, 63, chopped over the body with a cutlass by her 92-year-old relative. She is in a serious condition, warded at the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex, December the 22nd. Where are the women groups to lift their voices in outrage? Do they only raise their voices if they dare to tell a woman what to wear? Where are the prominent Indian women to raise their voices? Kamla Prasad Bisesa, Carolyn Sipasan Bechan, et al. Is it that an Indian woman's fate, especially if she stays within the Indian community, one where at any point in time she can become a victim of an Indian man with a cutlass? Is the reason for this silence a general acceptance of that violence? Instead of some in our society always putting all their focus on the African community, pointing out to us that with children who committing crime in this country, they need to stop turning a blind eye to the crimes within the Indian community. How many more Indian women must die at the hand of a murderous Indian man with a cutlass in his hand? Yeah? Kamla Prasad says only deal with those things. So let me continue. And rest in peace to all those women I would have called. And look now. You see me, I'm seeing here. Clico Karen, she wants to join with UNC. I'm not going to even read it. It tells you the character of Karen Nunes Teixeira. It shows that she has none. With all that is happening, she still wants to join the Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Clico Karen. You must ask Karen why it is she went and take out all she money out of Clico just before the whole thing collapsed. She was Minister of Finance. Excuse me. She was Minister of Finance. No character, in my opinion. I'm also seeing that it having internal bacchanal with Prakash Ramada returning to the COP. And I wouldn't doubt it, because as I spoke last time, it was Kurt Sinnett since 2020 was the interim political leader. Up until just recent, very, very recent, he went to meet with Kamla Prasad Bisesa as a part of the groups who want to form alliance with Kamla Prasad Bisesa. And about 3-4 days after, you see Prakash come out and he's now the political leader of the COP again. So they have been squabbling. I don't know what they're squabbling for. All they really seriously feel, because Sinnett and Wendell Eversley, all they really, really feel, they will allow all to lead any COP into any election. Oh, they're good, yes? I'm glad for you. We still fighting racism, where the UN had to give us another 10 years for the peoples of African descent to treat with racism, prejudice, and reparation, and so many other things of people of African descent. The first 10 years, they said they haven't achieved the goal, they raise an awareness, but they haven't reached where they need to go because people are not taking responsibility. You, Mr. Wendell Eversley, and you, Mr. Kurt Sinnett, really feel 2 African men, them allow all here to head the COP, the Congress of the People, which people used to say is a knife and fork Indian party. I think Panda, they say something so. All they really thought so in truth. Anyway, let me continue, yes? So I'm seeing that attorney get a nod over Annie Roberts for the, let me see what seat, Papa. Hey, they're bringing an attorney. So this in the Guardian, 21 hours ago, attorney gets nod over Anil in Arangwa St. Joseph seat. In a surprising move, the United National Congress has selected attorney Devresh Maharaj over Senator Anil Roberts to contest the Arangwes St. Joseph seat in the upcoming general election. Another attorney, Wayne Sturge, has also been given the nod for the Tokos and the Grandi seat. The UNC made the announcement in a release yesterday, where Maharaj and Sturge were named amongst 5 candidates selected last Thursday, latest rounds of screening. Marabella West Councillor John Michael Alibokas was also chosen for the San Fernando East. Former TNT Defense Force Corporal Richard Smith for Train City Maloney and Dr. Natalie Chaitan Maharaj was given the go-ahead for Aruka Lupino. According to the biography provided by the UNC, Maharaj has been active in the party since 1991 in various capacities and holds positions in other social sectors, including chairman of the International Love of All Serve All Initiative and advisor to the Casablanca Steel Orchestra. This brings 8 the total number of candidates chosen thus far by the UNC. In the party first rounds of screening, Salam Hussain, Bataria Sawa, and Vandana Mohit Shagonas East were reappointed for their current seats, while Dr. Michael Dowlat was selected for the marginal constituency of San Fernando West. Now I see something, I don't know how true something, I don't know if it is alleged that Dr. Michael Dowlat, who was the principal of Naparima, I think it was, his son involved in some stalking, some kind of thing. It is alleged with somebody and somebody and something. I don't know, like UNC does just pick them. And this Ali Bokas, he feels his looks. He feels his looks to beat, I think, of this Minister Faris Alwari. Looks does take you so far, my dear. What experience you have. You could sing, that is what it takes to run a whole ministry or to be a member of parliament. Come now, man. Holy good, oh yes. But a name that intrigued me is Wayne Sturge. I want Ole to tell me if this is Wayne Sturge. Because I might be wrong, eh? My glasses must be showing good. Ole, tell me who is this? The UNC knows how to pick them. Ole, who is this? Ole, if I'm not looking like Wayne Sturge, Yeah, one of Superman jockey shorts, the man opened down the crotch, pulled along the pants so he could see the S by where piggy is. Oh my goodness, and he lift up the jersey to see belly. UNC sure know how to pick these people. Oh, blessed by Miss Bram. Is it a son Ali Bokas? Or by what? By Bram Allen? He better buy grease to grease down his body or ghee or something because it's licks and more licks. Figuratively speaking, not literally speaking. It's licks. Ali Bokas get ghee. Rub down your body because it's going to be licks. Licks. Licks and then wetting after wetting. Brian Manning, you're going to try to contest Brian Manning's seat with Patrick Manning. The seat was holding on you. Oh God. Cutter's book. Let me continue. I will comment to the things and I comment to the things that comment to the things. So people, hey, as somebody put up, the election officer who was now elected for the PSA election, Miss Pamela Eiffel, has resigned from the position because it is alleged that one Oral Saunders, like he have a problem with woman. It is alleged he has been speaking about the woman all over radio, all kind of thing, and alleging that she doesn't have any experience in being the election officer. And I hear the woman is very upset because it's her name and reputation that he is dragging, it is alleged. And I find out that the woman worked in elections, I think, since 1983. And while not being a returning officer, presiding officer, right, she worked with Ms. Vercel right from EBC, and she has experience in elections. But it is alleged that she would have worked at one time by WASA, and it is alleged that, I don't know, this Oral Saunders is out there trying to drum me the woman name and she character. Or remember, just recently he was in a live doing me the same thing, and I have asked him to answer questions, which I understand it is said some close relative of his own tell him to answer on anything. But you see, that is a cop-out because you went on your whole live with somebody and the man called my name and you answer to it and you say a lot of things about me. And now you don't want to answer question. You are the one who want to put up yourself as a presidential candidate. So now that Ms. Pamela Eiffel, who has experience working in elections since 1983, although she has not been a returning officer, presiding officer, and she has worked with Ms. Vercel Wright from EBC. The woman right out now. So now they got a new election officer, Mr. Desmond Benedict Noel, who is Assistant Auditor General. So I want to see if Oral Saunders is going to go all over the radio and say that the man might be biased because his middle name is Benedict, just like Nixon Benedict Calendar. I want to see if he's going to say the man because of that now, and because the man is our Auditor General, the man has no experience. So let me see, because if this woman have experience as an election officer, and you went all over the radio, they say, and talking, and based on that, the woman ride out. They got a man now who, we don't know he to know anything about no election. We don't know he to be involved in no election. We know him as Assistant Auditor General. And we know his name is Desmond Benedict Noel. So what are you going to do now? If you ain't going to protest that, it means to say you're biased against women. Is it now you're going to protest to say that this man, middle name is Benedict, and because Nixon Calendar, who is a presidential candidate in PSA United Sentinels, that you have so much problem. You use the word unity. United, I mean, because like united is your word. If I go to look at copyright words, United is going to have next state Oral Saunders. You're so upset that all the time he was saying Team Sentinel that now he take your name and all and following you just because he put PSA United Sentinel. What if the name changed? The UNC changed from back in the day with Barney Sagamaraj from PDP. It changed to SDLP. It changed to DISP. It changed to ULF. It changed to Club 88. It changed to UNC. It go to PP. It go back to UNC. What is the problem if Nixon Bennett calendar use a word that is in the dictionary that don't have your name attached to it, saying that you is the author of the word or you copyright the word? So let me wait to see what you're going to do now that they have a new election officer. Want to know? And I want to ask you one question today because Friday I'm coming back with one question. I want to ask you. So you want to go up as a presidential candidate for the PSA election. Do you know, and you should know, that Edie Stewart is fighting to get RMU status for nurses with his union. So when he get recognized majority status for nurses now, then you will be without a bargaining unit as a nurse, and you want to be in PSA. How will that work? So are you not being selfish? Should you not be getting yourself organized to go in ED and union? But no, it looked like you have your lifelong dream, like the only dream you had in life is to become the president of PSA. But you had the opportunity in 2009 and you wasn't confident that you could have been president. They make you, Watson, be the presidential candidate, and you say you will be, what, the general secretary? And what will you do? 4 months time you ride out from it. So when it going get tough, like the soft does get going. So we wait to see more protests coming because they have now chosen a man called Desmond Benedict Noel as the new election officer of the elections for PSA. So listen to Nixon Benedict Calendar as he remind people of the importance of the elections. Oh yes, and one more thing, I ain't forgetting, I nearly forget, in fact. We had to talk about that back. Hey! We had to talk about that bacchanal of the gift giving. Hey! So, this is Nixon Benedict Calendar speaking.
PSA members hear what PSA presidential candidate Nixon Calendar has to say on wage negotiations.
In the upcoming PSA elections on Monday, the 10th of March, 2025. Now, comrades, I have been very straightforward from day one when I announced my candidacy way back in July 3rd of this year for the presidency of the PSA. And from that time, I had stated my position on what we are involved in the wage negotiations, the positions that we are in right now, and what I intend to do about it. And comrades, I am clear in my mind that unfortunately, we will have to clean up the mess and settle the wage negotiations for all our bargaining units.
Yes! Public officers, PSA members here, the PSA presidential candidate Nixon Calendar.
Vote Nixon Calendar, Benedict Calendar, with his team, PSA United Sentinel, for the 2010 PSA election. A man who understands the work, has been doing the work. Oral has not represented nobody in the industrial court, nothing. Right now, Leroy Batiste and they have Nixon Calendar free of charge, representing PSA members in the industrial court. Because the PSA member more have faith in Nixon Benedict Calendar than Leroy Batiste and them to take the matter to industrial court. Right now, he is representing PSA members in the industrial court. So you're already doing the work. When we got the 9% after Duke said work for 5%, all remember that? It's because of Nixon Benedict Calendar with a bargaining unit, PSA, MIC, he negotiated for that small bargaining unit a 9% increase in salary. So no small unit in our union could get 9%, when the larger portion of public officers out there get 5%. And it's based on that, not really NUGFW, but based on the fact a small bargaining unit get 9% from PSA, as PSA representing them, and the rest of the public officers get 5%. Based on that 9%, I how we get the 4% come. Nixon Benecalinda, who did that, he negotiated on their behalf in MIC. So he has been doing the work. And while he was on suspension, in cases he done win, because he all want to make that an issue, or and they putting up the pity again. Yes, in 2020, I was using that as a reason why not to vote for him too. And you know what I said at the end of it? And while I was saying it, Nixon Benickel, and there's a man who could run PSA. But if he didn't have these charges hanging against him and them thing against it, that's what I used to say. So now that the man has won all the cases, he gone back to work, get all the promotion, everything. He explained to me the walking across the bank, and if he explained it all, I understand very well why they did it. He has all the receipts, everything to show how it went, why it went, and all that. There was never no danger, nobody trying to rob them, because police had locked down both sides of the road, parked to Henry, parked to Frederick Street. He explained it to me, and I was satisfied with the explanation. That is why I support him. But I wouldn't say that I never used to show the picture with pushing Rosanna and the picture with the bag of money. Of course I used to do it, because I was on oral team and we wanted to get into PSA as election, so we were using what we had. But every time I go and I speak on any forum, I would tell people, Nixon Benickel is a man could run PS as the president, but he had them baggage he have on him if he could get rid of it. And he has. So he had my support. Oral Sanders was the chairperson of the sentence side, staff, not staff side, we call it, over section. He made them come and have a next meeting and put a next man. He don't fight for nothing. He don't just come out and jump out when he see opportunity and spread all kind of talk and hype up and the cameras and put on the glasses and all them things and nothing behind it. He is selfish. That is what he is. He's selfish. So now that you made the woman run because of she name calling all that, a next man comes. So let me go and see if you're going to make you run too. People, it had, oh Jesus, Lord have mercy. Minister Stuart Young had a Christmas party for children. Me see nobody fighting. Excuse me, see nobody cussing. I see everybody the children having a good time. They get a little gift in their bag, thing to eat. They get a thing to eat and thing and all kind of thing. It even have a little, I must bring this to show you how children are something else. A little boy was telling the minister, he said, why, I'm putting it my way, why do you all have KFC? KFC is not healthy. The children should be eating vegetables. They should be eating carrot and they should be eating, and it wasn't amazing because it's like this little boy saying, I don't want a KFC, no, that is not good for children, I don't know. Put vegetables for the children instead. And I'm saying to myself, what a challenge are going to be to bring vegetables next time to get them children on them. So the point is, I'm sure if that child come next year and he see only KFC again, he might be very disappointed. So I think I'll have to talk to Minister if I see him or when I see him and say, listen, we could do some little burger patties or something so it have. But the point I'm making is this, the salient point, they have no fight, no bacchanal. Dr. Rowley in his constituency had the children party. I think Minister Marvin Gonzalez and all them other ministers had a little children thing, no fight, no bacchanal, no cussing. A leader of a party, a woman, who somebody put up toes. Yes, because you know why I could say that, because not Juke told us up in Chipunki. That's what we see. And Juke, she slapped Juke. And Juke said he get one slap pow so and he got to twist and show him what piggy, but he piggy. I remember the pieces of conversation. He piggy, what he's saying, like he piggy is so strong for all that sex she wanted, right? And she said the reason why she slapped him is because she catch him with somebody like himself. And then at time I see she with a snake wrap around, she saw and thing. And then at time she on the mountain and she talking in tongues or some kind of thing. And next thing I see she with a fighting karate something, showing she skills in art and samaru sword and thing. And then the next time she telling Fali that contract involving and a homosexual tendency. And there's all kind of thing around. Next time I see she riding a camel somewhere in Africa. Next time I see she, listen, the list goes on and on and on, right? Now she's the leader of a party. Now this lady is very educated. Oh God, let me fix this shape proper. I put a new chair and all it's sliding. Only here I fall long, don't laugh. Oh, what the hell? Yeah. I'm going to be honest with all you. Me have no big shape because I have my boom see and big, my booby and big. I learn little small little girls. I see and at times it just my mind go back to wisdom tooth. Some tights at times, some white tights and something, and I find that ain't looking natural. So I don't know if she had butt injection or what, but that is her choice, it's her body. Women have a right to do what the hell they want to the body. I was just making reference because she was out there and all kind of back. Anyways, to cut a long story kind of short, she is not the leader of she own party. Oh, well, let me show you the thing now, God. I didn't want to, but now people are saying, I wasn't there. People are saying that people pay money. Some pay 100, some 300, some 500. I don't know how true this is. So let me put a ledge. People pay money. The place that ram out. Let me tell you, I think was Center Excellent. The place was home girl could show something. The place that ram was sitting full out. And then I don't know what happened. She came in a long black dress. Hello, I thought was Medusa or from the Adams family. Until when she turned around, I see it have a kind of red in front, so and a red so I said, And then she talked to the peoples, and then she started to call names. And I don't know what happened next between she talking, calling names, and some people going up. Something happened that I don't know and me see. But I hear they start to get on. I hear somebody woke up and slap. She whacked out, kataks. I don't know if she gets on two sides of the face. And I hear she cough back because she in black belt and whatever. And imagine the political leader of a party who wanted to be prime minister of this country was in a fight and cough out. People looking to shove it all kind of thing. I mean, I see the total out a man. So I don't understand how it starts with a woman slap she cuff a woman and they total out a man. I don't get it. Let me tell you back and for so much all watch it now. Hey, only Trinidad. Oh God, oh yeah, watch it.
What's going on here? What? PNM people, all watch them. All watch them. I said they're hungry about PNM people. Yes, I tell you that. I said they're hungry about PNM. All watch them. Watch. What's going on? Watch. You're fighting. Watch. What's going on here? Let's see what's going on here. Watch.
Right, so fight break out. Now the person falling about what was hungry PNM people, right? First I want to say, why you doing this? So then you're hungry too. That is one too. I ain't see nobody no PNM jersey, and I didn't know being an African meant that you automatically is a PNM. But that's why I come back to say again, when Philip Alexander say dragging the PNM and dragging them to help you talking about African people. Because if this person in a space with only African people, they have on no PNM jersey, they don't have no flag, they walk around and say, I love Dr. Rowley and the PNM. And you could say that them is PNM hungry people and them fighting. Something is wrong with all about what you doing there. But then I want to ask the next question. Why it is if you're going to get gifts, based on the allegation I get, that you have to pay $100 or $200 and $300. If that is true, that's something like some pyramid something. I don't know, I asked him earlier. Somebody tell me now. Is that something like that was so KFC? Well, I don't know, I hear people saying so. But then again, if you see, and he up there, well, what he went up there for? Because I remember at the time that same individual, I think it was for Carnival, Miss Davy was with she crew, if I remember right, cleaning somewhere on the avenue, whatever, after Carnival, whatever thing. And like he started get on, he want to work, whatever. And she would have say, well, she actually people is already working, whatever, and he started get on or something, so, and she tell him, okay. And she tell him he ain't go get the money now, he go be next whenever, and buy things for them to eat, whatever. That individual, if it's the same individual, get on radio and start to drag the woman as if she didn't want to pay him and she rob him and all them kind of things. So you see, them sir. Again, I'm saying, no, it's not house slave. I tell all of them is house N. Them is house N. Them is the NIGGARS. Not slaves. We was these slaves. Could they bring me a slave? They didn't bring me here as no NIGGRS. That was created here. Them is the ones they create here. So my salient point to these people. You want to bring cheer to people's life. You want to bring happiness to people's life and to give and charity and all that. Why, if that was genuine, this is my opinion I give it. From a spiritual perspective. If that was done in truth and honesty, it could have never degenerate into that bacchanal day. I talk it from a spiritual point of view. If something is done in truth and honesty, it could never end in confusion. Or they tell me if I'm wrong now. If you're doing something in truth and honesty to people, people will gravitate to the honesty and truth. They wouldn't come at bacchanal. But that wasn't done in truth. Because how it reached down to where somebody walking to slap, she's the political leader of the party, you know. Have a situation where people came for gifts. And I hear it was bicycles and appliances and all that. It reached a slapping and she beaten or coughing down the woman, whatever the case may be. Then I asked myself, I'm just asking because this thing ain't looking, it's looking kind of, digest me. Because if you say people are legend who pay 500, 300, 100. Okay, let me back up. If you have 100, 300, $500 to pay to that, you can take your blasted money and go buy your own gift for yourself featuring. What you need to pay money to go get a gift for. So then something ain't right. Because in Minister Stewart on Christmas party, the train get gift. Nobody had to pay $100, $50, $25, $500. You just get a gift, you eat, you get your ticket for your snacks, so you're getting popcorn, cotton candy, snow cone, KFC, wagon with hard boys, some other thing, whatever it is with your chip. And you get your gifts and music, panside play, music play, and you go home. I'm showing Dr. Rowley's Christmas party and all the other Christmas parties that were held. Nobody had to pay no money. Why it has been alleged that people pay 100, 200, 300. What you pay that money for? So that people are saying, no, they didn't get what they come for. What all they went for? What I don't understand. Somebody need to clear the air that it reached to somebody woken up and slap. So here I'm asking myself, with all these uncertainties, I wonder if that whole thing was staged. What do you think? I wonder if that whole incident of slapping was staged so people could get out of it so they don't have to make the commitment. I don't know. But it wasn't nice on all accounts. The one who woke up and slapped and what happened after, I don't really like violence. And then if it's somebody who is promoting themselves as wanted to be the prime minister of this country and you start off where you're fighting, well, Lord have mercy. You go be in parliament, and as they say, something like you go jump over, you go is a karate woman and hit some high kick and high chop. Where we going? And just like Gabriel Booth said, you could imagine Philip Alexander as Minister of Finance or in any ministry. I remember a time on He Live in 2020. He tell me Casey red ass, you know. And I write and say, if you looking for office in this country, telling people who you trying to convince kiss your red ass. And it has some people, imagine it have some women in this country who does have them as influencers. Me no influencer. I'm not a social media influencer. Not me, Papa. I just bring information. Agreeing with Philip Alexander and what he said about Mrs. Robinson Ridgey's crying. How you can agree with that? No, if you want to speak about the fact that the fire service took long, it didn't have water, and the fire service, there is a great. That could be a conversation. But agree to we drag Minister Camille Robinson Ridgey, a woman like yourself, and those derogatory things he's saying about crying for a friend, you are agreeing with that whole thing? Women are our own worst enemy. And I have a girlfriend who here on the live, who, if I bring her on earlier, they go back and out in this place because she is a strong advocate for women's rights. And if she alone had to go out and talk, she will do it. Strong woman for women's rights and the whole patriarchal system. Don't get she started on that. And the way women have been treated based on that system, that is very unfair, uncaring, and unkind to women. And to have a woman agreeing with a man dragging another woman who is generally crying for a friend, another woman who died saving her child. Good God. Good God. Good God. So, people, when I see you all again, I'm going to be Friday. So I want to tell everybody, have a blessed, Merry Christmas. Don't eat too much, don't drink too much. Remember the reason for the season. Remember, if you're of the Christian community, what it represents and live it. Don't just say it. Do it in your actions, word, and deeds. Don't just from here, say it from here. But also when we are celebrating, remember those who may not have anything to celebrate. For instance, God forbid, they don't find the worker from the platform. He has children and he has another baby on the way. They definitely is not going to have. Christmas is the furthest thing from their mind. The Morris Julian family and friends, same thing. There are persons who are in hospitals, there are children who are sick, there are the elderly, and people who have different situations happening with them that Christmas is not something that they could think about. Let us remember them in our prayers and remember there's a time and seasons for everything. Somebody dies, somebody is born, a time to laugh, a time to cry, a time to sow, a time to reap. So those things are real things. So let us be sensitive to that also. And please, people, take care of the elderly and those young ones who are vulnerable. Don't forget them. Don't leave them at home by themselves to go lime. Make sure all electricals are off. Make sure the children are safe, the elderly are safe. Make sure they have something to eat and not being treated badly. So people, I love you all. Let me see all who was here. Why this thing don't move? Same to you, Jared. I love Watchmen. I love my people and I love my people. So all who was here, Merry Christmas. See you all on Friday. So Helen, Joel, Claire, Andrew, Constance, Cheryl, Rudolph, Daniel, Sean, Edison, Carolyn, Tessa, Berkey, Jennifer, Laura, Sandra, Earl, Augustus, Carl, Jenny, Makeda, Kira, Leo, Jonathan, Joyce, Ricky, Merle, Estra, Roslyn, Veronica, Phyllis, Christopher, Cheryl, Nathaniel, Kenneth, Lenore, and Hazel with your 900 followers. I don't see none of your followers coming here, you know. Like it's when you alone following me. Shirley, Curtis, Pauline, Balti, you just sound like a Bollywood star, you know. Josephine, Patsy, Nadia, Gloria, I thought that was my cousin, no. Gloria, Sharon, Fraser Denon, Cheryl, Barry, Grace, Sherman, Mila, Anthony, Joycelyn, Anton, Merle, Sarah, and Ingrid. Ingrid has always been the last person. I wonder how come, boy. So you all know the hi, Erica, Jonathan, Dante, I see Danina, and Patsy. Blessing to you all and all the family. Thank you all so much for always staying tuned in and locked into the Talky thing. Without you, with my Merry Christmas. Love, oh God, I love all the bad, Nadia Lois Dixon. Merry Christmas, everybody and people. Let me spread the love. Let me spread the love and as fisherman on the sea, Gabriel would say, we must not, we must not allow hate from the UNC and hate from people like Kamala and Philip Alexander and them to be a part of our society. Yes, it may have some, because it's human beings, but not the levels that they want to bring it to, right? Let's keep love alive. Let's keep hope alive. People see you all on Friday. Go stay when I come with something fresh, something new. But take your attention. Laura will call you. You need to put up that day. No, I'm going to call you. You reach Lady Bumpkin, where was all the time. The whole show that I ain't going over for you, you know. You have to watch the rerun. Rerun. So people, I love you all, Jonathan, everybody. See you all on Friday. Go stay. We go enjoy yourself. African thanks to the education. Balti, darling, I love you bad, you know. I just love that name, Balti. People, Friday Gospel coming something. We come in hot. We go like ourselves, a little something, right? I ain't read everything till we go. We get a little breeze like the holidays, right? Love you all. Rosalind, everybody. Go on until Friday Gospel. Stay safe, everybody. Bye.
The whole population of our little nation is not a lot, but oh, what a mixture of races and culture, that's what we've got. Still no major indifference of race, color, religion or finance. It's amazing to you, I'm sure, we didn't get independence before, which means Trinidad and Tobago will always live on. Colonialism gone, our nation is gone, everybody. We will follow our leaders. They always do their best. Oh yes, we want to achieve. We're going to aspire. We're bound to be a success. It is a miracle all these different people can dwell so well. You see, we are educated to love and forget hatred. You know it's so. You people who are foreign, I got a message to give you when you go in. Spread the word anywhere you pass. Tell the world there's a modern nation at last, which means Trinidad and Tobago will always live on. Colonialism gone, our nation is born. We go follow our leaders. They always do their best. We want to achieve, I myself to aspire. We want to be a success. The revenue we make from oil and the pitch lake is great, but wait, we got cocoa and copra, banana and sugar, coconut, citrus. We may be small, but we wealthy. Pound for pound, we'll beat New York City. We got beaches and hotels built by Hilton. Our nation is second to anyone. Where you talking? Trinidad and Tobago will always live on. Colonialism gone, our nation is born. We go follow our leaders. They always do their best. In order to achieve, you got to aspire, and we're bound to be a success. but we didn't achieve this with floods of blood. It is leaders like Butler, Cipriani, and the doctor, they fight for what is right. So now I'm congratulating all our leaders from the present back to the beginning. They have fought, now the battle is won. Thanks for a good job, and well done, everybody. Trinidad and Tobago will always live on. Colonialism gone, our nation is born.